to remind America that liberty is ours and resides within us. In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its maximum hour of danger. You are that generation. This is that hour. You know what your role is to do. There are 535 people in Washington, D.C. who write the laws that govern us, and none with more fidelity to the Constitution than the person I introduce to you now. There are 535 people in Washington who write the laws, none with a greater belief that freedom is natural and the government needs to shrink. There are 535 people in Washington who write the laws, and among them is a modern-day Thomas Jefferson. Medicare is broke, Medicaid is broke, Social Security is broke, the Post Office is broke, Amtrak is broke, even the Mustang Ranch when the government ran it was broke. And they want to run our health care. One person has the courage to draw a line and say, you shall not cross. Because in an age of few heroes, he is the genuine article. And he is the reason we are here tonight. His personal faith in the natural rights of every human being, his belief in the primacy of the individual, his understanding of the indispensability of the free market for human prosperity, his realization that our rights are ours by virtue of our humanity, and his dogged determination in the face of the most overwhelming odds that the government must reside within the confines of the Constitution have resonated around the world and lit a prairie fire in the belly of millions. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues, Congressman Ron Paul.
Are you tired standing yet? Well, it's wonderful to be here. It's so nice to have such a reception. It makes me feel bad about 2 years ago I didn't even come by Ohio, but I finally got here. Well, I want to start off with a good news, bad news story. I want to tell you the bad news first. I'm from Washington, you know. But the bad news is that the economy's in shambles, our liberties are being destroyed routinely, and we're in a state of perpetual war. That's the bad part. The good part is that we have answers for that. We literally do have answers, and it can be found in the principles of liberty and in our Constitution. Next week, matter of fact, it'll be this week, I believe it's on Thursday, we will be having a special event on the House floor that Dennis Kucinich and I and others have worked on. It's a long overdue debate. It's a debate on the Afghan war.
Yes.
It should have happened many years ago.
Yes.
But it looks like we'll have 3 hours of debate and then a vote to find out whether they have the legal right to pursue this war. Obviously, they do not have a legal right to pursue a war that has been not declared. I'm not predicting we'll win that vote, but I can predict that a lot more people will start thinking correctly about the war and the perpetual war. One of the provisions that came out of the last administration was this whole idea of preventive war. This is astounding to me. Preventive war means that we initiate the wars. We must once again adhere to the Constitution, never engage in war unless it's declared, and fight them to win them and get them over with, but to stay out when we don't need to. A couple of practical reasons why we shouldn't be over there or in the various countries is that we can't afford them, and that it undermines our liberties. War is the health of the state, and the more times you're in war, as long as you're in war, the people are more susceptible to giving up their liberties. And now we're in a state of perpetual war. This has to change. Now, the practical answer would be change our minds, change our attitude. I was asked one time in a debate a few years ago, maybe somebody watched it. They said, well, what would you do about these wars? And I said, we just marched in. Why don't we just march home? But we will leave, but unfortunately we're going to leave under bad circumstances because this country will be declared bankrupt, and that is liable to come in a short order. When that happens, empires collapse. It's happened numerous times over history. We did not have to fight the Soviet Union. They had, the thousands of nuclear missiles and weapons, and we did not have to confront them. And they disintegrated because they had a flawed economic policy. Well, this country has been operating under a flawed economic policy now for a good 70 years, and the end is coming, and that is what we're witnessing at the present time. And it isn't too difficult to come up with a better system. What we need to do is to understand the basic premises of individual liberty. Liberty is the reason for all political action, to restore and preserve liberty. The Constitution is a guideline and one that is supposed to hold the government in check. It's not supposed to hold the people in check. Yeah. The wars will eventually bankrupt us, along with the runaway welfare spending here in this country. Now, the one reason why I have talked about one little incident that we deal with, one little unit, and that's called the Federal Reserve, because it facilitates big government, because it facilitates war and it facilitates the welfare state, and therefore we cannot really survive this with a central bank, and that, of course, is the reason we must end the Fed.